Alright, so today we're going to talk about exercising around knee pain. Now, if you have an actual medical issue and you need to see a practitioner, see a practitioner. Don't get your advice from a YouTube video. It's not meant to fix any medical ailment. But for someone with achy knees, if you have little twinge here and there, especially like tailor tendinitis, stuff like that, and you are trained, you can train through it. It's kind of a nagging thing. We'll kind of talk about some strategies, how to lay out your leg day in order to train around that, make that feel better. Hopefully train pain-free. So again, not medical advice, but here's kind of like a layout and some tips to hopefully address training, make it manageable. So training around knee issues, first thing I always want to look at is how does our hip move? So let's act under the presumption that the knee is a simple hinge joint. It gets a little bit more complicated than that under some circumstances, but I like to go Occam's razor, kind of look for the simplest solution first. Let's just go under the presumption, knee, simple hinge joint. If I'm lacking movement at the hip, so IR, ER, then that rotation's probably going to go through the knee, right? So I lack rotation here, rotation goes to the knee. The issue is the knee is a hinge joint. Hinge joint shouldn't rotate a lot. So first, address IR, address ER, make sure those things are good. Check my warm-up video, kind of get a strategy on how to build a warm-up to help address those things. Next, if hip, ER, IR is good, if we have trouble keeping full foot pressure, we do need to have tibial rotation too. I'm not going to get too far into that, but let's make sure that we can pronate our foot, right? This motion. If everything we do is on the outsides of our feet, then we probably lack the ability to pronate. We want the ability to pronate and supinate. Even somebody with flat feet, you probably lack the ability to supinate. So looking at the foot, we can address that a little bit if we need to, but for the most part, look at the hip. Can we do ER? Can we do IR? Let's make sure that force is not getting put through the knee where it shouldn't. Kind of start with that in your warm-up. Second's going to be somebody with anterior knee pain, like you have patella tendinitis. One of the best things you can do is train hamstrings first. So what that's going to do is our hamstrings are antagonists to the quads. There's this idea or principle of reciprocal inhibition. When I train my hamstrings concentrically, when I load them, my quad has to relax, right? So on that nervous system pathway, hamstrings contracted, quad has to relax. Train our hamstrings first. If we have quad tightness that's causing our patella tendinitis, right? If that's tight, sometimes, a lot of the time actually, that will alleviate some of the discomfort that we have in the front of our knee. Kind of getting more into some other strategies too. When I get on the hack squat, I'll talk about that, or the pendulum squat, I'll talk about that. But front load your day with less knee bendy things, more hamstring things. So if I'm having knee issues, I'm probably going to front load with hamstrings, probably going to front load with more of a hinge movement like this RDL right here. For squatty things, if your knees hurt, a few things we're going to look at. One, do not bounce out of the hole. So if we're going down, even if it's under control, going down and I'm bouncing out of the hole, I'm putting extra tension on the structure over my muscles, right? So I don't want to be doing that. It's not going to feel good for my knees. I want to control the end range of the movement. Other thing, as far as load management goes, I talked about tactics, get the hips moving good, get the knee feeling good. As far as constraints, to make sure we're not overloading our knees, rep ranges, higher rep ranges. I'm not going to be hitting a 5-piece on the pendulum squat, hack squat, back squat if my knees are hurting. Probably going to pick something that's more 10 to 12, 12 to 15, 15 to 20. Utilize tempo, slow tempo. That, along with higher reps, that's going to limit load on the bar. So let's say I do my sets at 3.5 plates for 10. Usually, if I add in an extra 2 count on tempo, if I add in an extra 5 reps, whatever it's going to be, whatever strategies I choose, I'm probably going to do like 2.5 plates to 3 plates, right? Mitigating load, that's going to feel better on my knees. Not going to bounce out of the hole. Going to start with other strategies. But as far as getting the knees feeling good, that's kind of the 3 things I would look at. 1, address the hip. Make sure hip's moving good. Address our patterns, make sure we're moving good. 2, train the hamstrings first. 3 is going to be utilizing tempo, rep ranges, and mitigate load. So combine those 3 things. If your knee's still hurting you, then yeah, we probably want to go see a PT.